People still have opinions on the Broncos-Bills game from over the weekend. People still have opinions on the Broncos-Bills game from over the weekend. The opinions still continue. Not helped by the fact that NFL Films released a slow motion, gorgeous shot of the Brandon Cooks catch that never was. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. And as of right now, it's 7:15 in the morning on Wednesday. Brandon Beane is doing his press conference. I don't expect it to be much of a press conference following firing Sean McDermott yesterday on Tuesday. I am not going to be tightly following that press conference. I just don't know how much is going to come out of it. And if there's anything interesting, I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll bring it up then. Anyways, people still have opinions on the Bills and Broncos game. I'm not going to go back into the debate over whether the catch was a catch or an interception. That was some of our highest engaged content, but I got to tell you, frankly, I need a break from being told I'm an idiot. I do. I need a break from being told I'm an idiot. For a little while. I'll be back. But I'm good with being told I'm an idiot for a little while, particularly being told I'm an idiot when I'm right. As I mentioned in the beginning, NFL Films released an angle that the replay people definitely had. And it shows the ball being released, caught at the jump point, 2 feet down, tucking the ball away, hitting the ground with control, and the ground not dislodging it, but the defender after he's down by contact. I just said I wasn't going to get into it, Nick. You said you weren't going to get into it. Okay. There's something else that's been kind of going around the internet in the days following the game, directly following the game. Josh Allen, he had some tears at the podium. He shed some tears at the podium. And in the immediate aftermath, it was there was positivity around that. Like, it was positivity like, hey, it's good for, young men to see a man cry. It's good that he cares so much. And then I've seen the internet always comes back with darkness. And I've always seen, and I keep seeing this, oh, how dare he cry at the podium. Man up, Josh. Here's why I don't have a problem with him crying. Sorry, a little bit of a cold. Here's why I don't have a problem with Josh crying. Number one, human beings cry. We do. Particularly in high-pressure, highly emotional situations, which is where we put these young men, yes, young men, we put these young men on the largest of stages. We artificially make those stages large. We artificially make them larger. Like, people hook their livelihoods onto this child's game. And we take what should just be kind of fun, we hook massive expectations on it. At 30 years old, I don't know if I would have the emotional maturity to have the emotional stoicism that Josh has 99% of the time. And then the final game of the year, he has the first bad playoff game he's had in years, and he cries because he let his team down. And he knows what he did. He knows he let his team down. And to the people in the comments for the last 3 days who have said to me, well, your quarterback shouldn't have had 4 turnovers and you would have won. Guess what? I know that the 4 turnovers means he wouldn't have won. But when we have that debate about the turnovers, we're having a debate about an alternate reality. Plus, time happens linearly. And if you talk to me about 4 turnovers, all you tell me is that you didn't watch the game. Number one, I don't agree with you that he had 4 turnovers because I thought Brandon Cooks caught the ball. And I will always think that Brandon Cooks caught the ball. Which, again, would have ended the game in overtime because we could have just kicked it and walked away. It would have been done. I said I wasn't going to get into debate. But the other 3 turnovers, let's actually think about them for a moment. 1, interception when he was throwing the ball to Curtis Samuel. As I said the other day, fantastic play by the safety, shutting that window and getting to the spot before Curtis Samuel did. Underthrown ball, defender coming over nicely, shutting that window. 1 fumble, people have analyzed it to death. The fumble where Josh, at near halftime, took off running. He has the ball away from his body, his arm gets chopped, and the ball gets thrown away. He knows he can't do that. That was just a boneheaded mistake. And when I say just a boneheaded mistake, I mean there's no 2 ways, left, right, or center, to explain that other than boneheaded move. The other fumble was a strip sack, meaning a defender who was supposed to be blocked just got around the edge, got on his blind side, and chopped him as he was throwing. And I'm not debating the fumble. Like, he got chopped in the back motion before his arm was coming forward. So, completely legitimate, great play by the defender. Sometimes you tip the cap. And Buffalo also had terrible fumble luck, meaning Denver fumbled the ball multiple times, and the ball literally bounced back into the hands of a defender, not a defender, but a Broncos player. That's terrific. Like, that is terrific, being in the right place at the right time. That's terrific heads up play. The Broncos, to be clear, played very well in the game. That's why I was in such favor of letting the players decide the game out. But those turnovers in overtime no longer mattered. And somebody's going to say to me, well, they do matter because you wouldn't have been in overtime. Well, you know what? Time happens linearly, right? That's why people have that whole thing about, like, don't let a bad moment in the beginning of your day ruin your whole day. I had a bad day. Why? Well, in the morning, my coffee was burned. No, you had a bad cup of coffee. Time happens linearly. If you tell me that the turnovers were the only thing that mattered about the game, you tell me that you are a casual fan. You tell me you are a casual. I got into the debate. I couldn't help it. I really couldn't help myself. I really wanted to talk and give Josh his flowers for being a man with emotion. He looks like he's going to make a great father. I wanted to be that guy. And you know what I did instead? I wandered right back into this debate because some of these commenters, some of you guys, you're fantastic. I love you. You are wonderful to interact with. Even people I disagree with, you're wonderful to interact with, and you're great. And then some of you are just, some of you just try to get under my skin. And I in some ways I love it, in some ways I don't. But anyways, as I was saying, time happens linearly. The turnovers, by the time you got to overtime, no longer mattered. And Josh crying at the podium is a young man on the brightest of stages who didn't have a good day. And when you don't have a good day at the office, most people outside the office don't notice. When Josh has a bad day at the office, upwards of 30 million people see him and analyze him. And then he has to hear about his bad day at the office for the next off season. And analysts who love to hook their analysis onto just raw box score numbers, they're going to talk about how Josh doesn't have the clutch gene, which is the dumbest piece of analysis I have ever heard. The clutch gene. Football's a team sport, last time I checked, and the whole team needs to win the game. Right? The whole team needs to win the game. Patrick Mahomes, he has had elite defenses in the playoffs. Now, I will agree with you if you say to me that no, Patrick Mahomes hasn't had the best defenses always in the regular season. He hasn't. That is for sure, 100%. But when it comes to the playoffs, his defenses always make that one or two clutch plays they needed to make. They come in the clutch, which is great. You need that because it's a team sport. Josh is going to have to hear all off season how he didn't do enough to help his team. No wonder he says, I let the team down. Yeah, 4 turnovers doesn't help, but a good team needs to be able to overcome stuff like that because your quarterback's not always going to have the best day at the office. And frankly, I want my quarterback to care so much that he cries at the podium. I want him to care that much. Because that tells me he has it. If he came to the podium and he was like, well, it's a tough loss, we'll work our way back up. No, come on, man. I want a quarterback who cares. Today was definitely a rant because some of y'all made me so mad. To everybody who is commenting, liking, subscribing, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying interacting with you. I'm not enjoying interacting with people who tell me I'm intellectually dishonest, but even then, I enjoy interacting with you quite a little bit. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.